Welcome to the State of the Market with knowledgeable realtor Scott Zaino. Sit back and relax as Scott lifts the curtain on Cape Cod's real estate stats. Buckle up and let's dive in. This is your monthly State of the Market report.
Hello and welcome back to another State of the Market. Every month, like clockwork, we're so happy to share all this valuable information with everybody. So February was a doozy. And first things first, we hope that everybody is safe from the storm and you didn't have any damage and that you're getting back on track, right? We're just seeing sidewalks being dug out and whatnot. Um, the other thing that we want to talk about today is interest rates are a big topic. And then, of course, if you're a seller or a buyer, excuse me, or an investor, this video is for you. And just keep in mind that if you are thinking of listing, January, February, March are the best months to list. That's really our spring market, believe it or not, even though there's snow on the ground. January, February, March is the best time to list. And buyers are out there looking and they're scouting out the property that they want to own, call their own. And then they're closing, fixing it up, and then having some barbecues and July 4th parties. That's kind of the mentality, I guess, the way buyers and sellers think this time of year. So I'm going to dive right into it. We've got some great information for you. Once again, thanks for following along and with all your cards, letters, and texts and emails. Just going to go ahead and just share my screen. Okay, so the first item up for bids today is average sales price. And I set my graph for 10 years or the maximum because I really want you guys to really comprehend and understand these numbers because we want you to be the smartest people at the closing table that made the best decision for you and your family. And the only way you can really do that is through history and empirical data. And empirical data is data from the past, right? So normally I'd open my graph up to maybe 2 or 3 years, and once in a while I go back to 5 because that's when COVID was, right? But I wanted to go back even further and show you guys the the exact graph that we're looking at, no different than if you were looking up your stock, right? It shows you the years and the months and how it's gone up and how it's gone down. So the average sales price for the end of February was 903. And the average sales price in January was 923. Okay. So the average sales price dropped about $23,000. The next item, just fix my piece of paper here. No cheats. The next one is your active listings. So this tells us how many listings are on the market. So we're sitting at the end of February at 532 listings. Now, that also includes residential sales, properties for sale, condos, and raw land. When you pull those out, let's say there's 25 lots and let's say there's 50 or 60 condos. That's almost 100 units right there. That puts us down to closer to 400 units for sale. And again, I don't know any other way to drive this home and share with you, but if you're a seller, I think you would be more interested in competing with less properties than more, right? So in February, we had 532. In January, it was 552. So we lost about 20 properties from January to February. But you go back here and you can see during COVID, which was 2020, and we've talked about this before, we were sitting around 1,900 units. And we've never really recuperated since COVID. If we went back 10 years, we were sitting around 3,200 units. Think about that. 3,255 units for sale 10 years ago. And if we went back even later, say in '07 and '08, 6,000 units. And today we're at 532 units. So I hope I did a good job on sharing with you how important it is to know uh, when is the opportune time to sell. And the most opportune time to sell is when there's very few properties on the market such this. So let's move on to the next category, which is days on market. So this tells us how many days the properties stay on the market before they get an offer. So at the end of February, we were at 40. Let me see here. Let me go to average days on market because that's better. It was 64 days on market. Okay. And in January, that was 71 days. So properties went under contract about 7 days earlier or sooner than in January. And I expect that number to go down as we head into March and April, and the snow is melting and the birds are chirping and the flowers are popping and there's more buyers out. Because getting through all that snow is tough, right? A lot of properties weren't shoveled. The driveways weren't plowed. So, but I still think you'll see those numbers come down because of the interest rates and the time of year, right? More buyers out looking. Let's go to months of supply. So when we go to months of supply, this again tells us how soon before we would run out of inventory should no other houses come on the market. It's like an absorption rate, they call it, right? That's the technical term, is an absorption rate. And it's based off of inventory. So when you have 4 months of inventory or less, right? We've talked about this before, that's a seller's market. When your inventory is between 5.5 months, maybe even 6 months, depending on who you talk to and what you read, that's more of a neutral market, like a slack tide market, right? The tide isn't in, but the tide isn't out. It's in the middle, right? For all you fishermen. And then anything over 6 months is considered to be a buyer's market. However, like I've mentioned before, there's some fabulous buys out there for all the buyers in any price point. We see them every day. We call our clients and inform them and get them in there as quickly as we can because the market is excellent here. And again, I've said this before, it's really important to know that real estate is local. What I'm sharing with you here is for Barnstable County, Cape Cod, and the islands. The market might be completely different in the Midwest or Florida or Texas or California. So if you're looking to buy or sell in Massachusetts, especially on Cape Cod, this is an excellent video for you because it's dialed in the right way you want to live. The Northeast in general has been doing fabulous with real estate, where other states have been lagging. And there's a lot of reasons why, but I'm not going to get into that right now. So your months of supply is at 1.9. All right, less than 4, it's a seller's market. So we've continued to stay in a seller's market. Now, quickly, let's just go back to COVID 2020. The last time we were in a neutral market was May of 2020. When's the last time we were in a buyer's market? Strictly a buyer's market. Now you got to remember that's 6 months of inventory or more. We haven't had that in 5+ years, but let's go back just to see. 6 months. So we're looking for this 4.8 number to turn into a 6. So just right there, right before COVID, May, June, 18, 19, 6 months of inventory. Okay. That was more of a buyer's market. But look at this. Let's go back to '09, 20 months of inventory, right? 20 months of inventory. Today we're sitting at 1.9 months of inventory. All right. But go ahead and just stop my screen share for a minute. Let's talk about interest rates. Interest rates have been the lowest in 2+ years. They were as low as years ago, 2.99. Then they went up as high as 8 just a few years ago, settled in around 7, 6.5. Things changed, made some changes. And now the interest rates are for a 30-year fixed is now under 6%. So bravo to that. A lot of people have been waiting for that, including myself, because it's always nice to see the interest rates go down. As the interest rates go down, you have more buying power, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You can buy more property or more expensive property. So a 30-year fixed is 5.74. I looked these up just this morning. Okay, these are current, guys. A 15-year fixed is 5.35. A little bit less because it's for 15 years, right? So to give you a little bit better rate. 30-year FHA, Federal Housing Administration, is about 6.0, right, for those government-backed loans, all right, which are excellent. And then you have a 30-year VA, so Veterans Administration. Thank you all to all our veterans and our servicemen, especially today with what we're going through. That one is a 5.4, right? So right in the mid fives. 30-year jumbo, and you have to finance $800,000. So a jumbo loan varies by county. And for Barnstable County, 2025, the latest statistic was you have to finance about $800,000 for a jumbo loan, which incidentally, we have loan providers and lenders that can do these jumbo loans with no PMI. All right. So keep that in mind. But the 30-year jumbo for today is 6.2. And like I said, you need to finance about 800,000. So again, thank you so much for tuning in for another State of the Market 2026. We encourage and thank you all for your calls, texts, letters, and emails. Our door is always open. Okay. If you ever have a question or you would like to know the value of your property or anything that has to do with real estate, we also have a very long list of vendors and contractors. So if you need anybody to fix your house up this spring, or if you're in a little bit of a pickle through the storm and you need an electrician or a plumber or carpenter, please lean on us and we can help you with that. So again, thank you so much. We will see you on the next State of the Market for March of 2026. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.